One spring day, Fergie the Frog and his friend Roger packed a picnic and went to practice long-distance swimming in the pond. Swimming in the pond was much better than swimming in the swamp. The shore of the pond was sandy, not murky, and the water was clear all the way to the bottom. Fergie and Roger had a great morning. They raced back and forth. They practiced all the kicks they knew, trying to swim faster and faster. So by lunchtime, they were very tired. Panted Fergie, pass me one of those mosquito muffins before I faint. Here, said Roger, and he tossed a muffin to Fergie. And then he opened a bottle of swamp soda. After they'd finished eating, the two little frogs settled into the sand for a nap in the sun. As Fergie closed his eyes, Roger yawned and asked, Did you hear something? I thought I heard voices in the bushes. Oh, likely just some robins up in that nest up there, murmured Fergie. Let's go to sleep. So the two friends dozed in the sun. They didn't see two children peek over a log on the shore. Shh, whispered the little boy. Look, there are two more frogs sleeping on the sand. Okay, said his sister, I've got the pail. Let's get these frogs too on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, she yelled. And the children jumped over the log and ran toward Fergie and Roger. On the count of 3, the frogs woke up with a start. Jump, Fergie, yelled Roger. And they did. But you know, their legs were so tired, it took them 3 hops to get to the water. Quick, Brenda, there they go, cried the little boy. The girl reached into the pond and scooped with her pail. I got one, David, she said, spreading her hand over the pail so the frog couldn't jump out. I guess the other one got away, said her brother. But look, now our first frog has some company. Let's take them both home. The children disappeared down the path through the forest, carrying a new little frog in their pail. Another little frog was hiding in the sand at the bottom of the pond as long as he could hold his breath. And when it was safe, he hopped out of the water and he headed for the swamp as fast as his legs would carry him. What will happen next? Well, when that little frog reached the swamp, he saw Freddie and Mother Frog skinning flies for supper. Help, cried Roger. It's Fergie. He's been captured by humans. He's gone. And Roger burst into tears. Well, search parties combed the swamp for a whole week, hunting for Fergie. Crows, raccoons, even water snakes helped the search. But day after day, there was no sign of Fergie. Mother Frog kept croaking, don't give up, he'll come back. By the end of the week, even Mother Frog wasn't so sure. A week after Fergie disappeared, all the frogs gathered around the rock table. Mother Frog put out some mud pie, but no one felt like eating. Poor Fergie, said Freddie. I hope the humans take good care of him. A tear ran down Freddie's face. As the frogs were talking about what to do next, there was loud rustling in the bushes. A voice said, this looks like a good spot. Let's dump it here, Brenda. I don't see why we can't keep them, grumbled another little voice. Because they'll all die, just like that old frog we had. The frogs headed for cover. Slowly, the frogs peeked out of their hiding places, and a familiar voice piped up. "Hey, can a tad get some supper around here? All I've had for a week was grass and dead flies." It was Fergie. Mother Frog cried with joy. "You're safe!" "Hurrah, it's Fergie!" shouted the other frogs. They cheered as Freddie helped Fergie wipe the mud off his nose. "Welcome home," said Freddie. "You look a little pale, Fergie." "I've lived in a pail," he groaned. "I never want to see another dead fly as long as I can croak. Now please pass me the mud pie." So, I wrote that story quite a few Easters ago, and I used to tell it and stop in the middle, and we'd go a whole week without knowing what happened to Fergie. But that seemed not to be necessarily the best way to tell that story. So we heard it all today, but right in the middle of that story, we can get pretty worried about what's going to happen to one of those little frogs that the children caught. But by the end of the story, we feel relief and we're happy and we're really glad that Fergie's home safe. And that change in feeling from being worried and scared and not sure what's going to happen next to being glad and relieved and happy, that's the feeling that we have on Easter. Jesus died on Good Friday, and his friends were so worried, so scared. They ran away and they hid because they didn't know what to do. But on Easter morning, we hear as his friends began to meet Jesus, risen from the dead, come back to say that he still loved them and that he was risen to show that death never has the last word. I can't tell you how Easter happened. It's a mystery that will always live with God. But I want you to remember the change in feeling. Whenever you're scared or worried or upset about something, remember that Jesus is with you and that his love will help you go forward and feel joy and happiness and get through the hard times or the sad times or the scary times. That's the Easter message. And I hope you can live with that in your heart every day of your life, because people here will tell you it makes a difference. Let's pray. You say after me.